On today's show, we're taking a look at the Sunlu PLA Plus. Hey, welcome to the show. My name's Richard Cleveland. I'm your host here on the First Layer 3 times a week. As you know, every Wednesday we do a live stream at 1:30 in the afternoon, so we look forward to seeing you there as well. On today's show, we are talking about Sunlu Filament. Now, recently I was sent a box of Sunlu's PLA Plus in gray, and let's take a look at the packaging real quick. We'll just go over this screen here. Now, Sunlu's packaging, very good cardboard box, very rigid. It does come also vacuum sealed with a desiccant pack inside. So once you're finished using the roll, if there's still some on, you want to put it away for a bit and change your color, then you can always put this into a Ziploc bag, put the desiccant pack in there, and you're good to go. Now, let's take a look at some of the claims on the box as well. They say that this is Gold Award winner of 3D printer filaments field. So maybe it's, I'm not sure what that really means, but you know, things don't translate to English very well sometimes. But their tolerance is plus minus 0.02 millimeters, so pretty good tolerance there. This is the PLA Plus 3D printer filament in gray 1.75. On the back of the box, we can see that all of the products are shown there, as well as the printing temperatures, platform temperatures, tolerances, diameters. Their filaments come in 1.75, 2.85, and 3.0. They also have some certifications, not sure why. It always says to keep dry, keep away from heat, and it is flammable. The rest of the box is pretty much normal. It's got their logo on it, and a little window, peekaboo window here, so you can see what color the filament is. We have the filament out of the box, so let's take a look at the temperature tower that we did first and foremost. So the temperature tower, as always, you guys have seen me do this a number of times. This is 240 to 235, all the way up to 190. The bridging on this was not great at the different temperatures. It is very weak, the bridging. I think we got the best bridging right around 225, but I think we got the best layers at about 215. Now, this particular filament is rated to be printed anywhere between 205 and 230. So 215, I think that's a little high, but in all honesty, it doesn't look too bad. It's got a nice sharp edge. Now here along this side, we got a little bit of curling on this corner, and I'm not sure exactly why that happened. I think probably because the fan was on a little too high, so it curled this up, causing it to shrink. And that's why you're going to get curling, is because things are cooling too fast. So I'm going to have to play with the settings a little bit just to make sure that we don't get any curling on future prints. Strong, yep, can't break it apart. So this is printed hollow. Always do a temperature tower, and if you're unsure how to do that, go and check out one of our past videos on doing a temperature tower, both in Cura and in Simplify 3D. If you're using either of those programs, doing a temperature tower is always going to help you in the end. So what is good, what is bad about this filament? Well, let's start with a couple of negatives. The spool does not fit on the spool holder on my Wanhao Duplicator i3. And the reason is because the center hole is way too big. Now, I understand why they would do something like this. It is because they're not wasting plastic. It uses much less plastic. Again, not sure what type of plastic they're making their spools out of. Another negative on this particular spool is that they do not have on the label recommended temperatures. Which to me, I think in today's day and age doesn't take any more time. It is a sticker after all. They could add that right in there, which is something I think they should do, because there's a lot of companies out there that actually do it. The filament is coiled onto the spool, much like you see anything else. It's not really totally flat, and it's like any other regular spool you're going to get. So let's take a look at the diameter of this particular filament. We're going to cut off a chunk, and then we're going to take this. You see we're already getting slack. You see how we got slack around that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to uncoil that a little bit, and I'm just going to try and tighten that line up, and then we're going to rewind that onto the spool. And I'll show you why I'm doing this, because I don't want this to get tangled over and under one another. So I want to make sure that my filament is always going to be taut when it is on the spool. And on most spools, you will have a little area where you can thread out and then back in to keep your spool from tangling, okay? So let's take a look at the filament itself. All right. So we have our calipers here. We'll switch to the overhead. You guys can see we're going to set that to 0. We're going to put the filament in, and we are at 1.75, 1.76, 1.75. So we're going to test it at another location on the same strand, about middle, 1.73. And the only reason I've got my thumb on the wheel is just to keep it from sliding back. So I want to keep it nice and tight in there. And now we'll go to the other end and do the same thing there. Now at this end, we're down as low as 1.68. So that's a much bigger difference than what we had earlier. And you can see there, 1.68. And I'm really putting this 1.70. I'm trying to 1.67, 1.73. I'm trying to keep it in the widest part of the jaws here on the caliper, so it can't go back and forth, like it can't slip to one side or the other, which will throw off your measurement. So 1.76, 1.75 in the middle, 1.68 here, and 1.73 there. So there's quite a variance. I don't think that the Sunlu filament lives up to the tolerance that they say it does. You should always be checking your filament to make sure that it is not too big to go through your printer. Because what will happen is if you have a really inconsistent filament that goes through your printer, you can have all kinds of problems like jamming and backup and all kinds of stuff, and it can be a real hassle to try and clear all that out. So let's see what the strength test is like. We're going to bend it. We're going to bend it back, give it a pinch, bend it again, and so 3 bends, it will snap. Let's take a look at our regular PLA that we use here at Spool 3D. We'll just cut that off. Cut off a chunk here. While we're here, let's just compare the size. Let's take a look at this filament in comparison. So let's go back to here. We're going to take our calipers, we're going to set it to 0 again, and we're going to start here. 1.75, there you go. About halfway through. 1.75. And this one, 1.75, 1.74. So what does that tell me? That tells me that the Sunlu filament is not as consistent as they say it is. This is the filament. The filament I've been using, as you guys know, is the Spool 3D filament. It works very well on just about any spool holder that comes with your machine. And this is very consistent. The tolerance on this stuff is supposed to be 0.05. And I'm down near the bottom of the roll here, as you can see. And I'm consistent in about the same length that I used of the Sunlu filament. So very consistent on that. Little inconsistent on the Sunlu filament, which might cause you a problem down the road. So just be aware of that. It is their PLA Plus, prints at a little bit higher temperature. The spool itself is well done because it's got a lot of open area that you can see how much filament that you do have left. It is a little wider, so it doesn't fit onto standard spool holders. You will have to use either one that you've downloaded from Thingiverse. It's a little bit bigger, or put it on a all separate spool holder. And there's many of them out there, including the Spool 3D one. Overall, my good parts of it, well, it prints. It's got, looks like it has consistent color all the way through. I'm not sure about the PLA Plus. What I didn't do, which I should do here, let's go back to this camera, is I will take this and let's see how long it takes me to break this in the center. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pinch it right tight, just like that. And I'm going to do it again on this side. And then 3 times. And that's still not coming apart. I'm going to have to really work that and get it to come apart. So, do I think it's better than the filament I already use? I'm going to have to say no. I think the filament that I use every day is a filament that I'm going to stick with. The Sunlu filament just has not overly impressed me yet. And I paid for the Sunlu filament, so they didn't send it to me for free. I'm going to give my honest opinion. I mean, it's money that came out of my pocket, so at the end of the day, I don't think their filament is as good as the filament I've been using. So you can go ahead and try it for yourself, see how it prints. Our team all has some. They've all printed with it. They said it prints fairly nice for them. I'm going to do a couple more prints with it, and we'll show those off at a later date when we kind of do a follow-up maybe on the Sunlu filament. But for right now, it's a filament. And this is why we don't do filament reviews, because there's really not much to talk about. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to review a filament. So there you have it. Sunlu, yes or no, you can find it on Amazon. Just go to Sunlu Filaments or Sunlu Amazon, and you can find some there. I think it's about $25 or $26 Canadian for a roll of the PLA Plus. Now, let's thank a few people. First of all, let's thank our wonderful team. We have Jess Corniching behind the controls today. We also want to thank Frank Awesome, who is here every Wednesday, and our newest team member, Brian Baker, who is helping us behind the scenes. We are working on doing some brand new things for the show, trying to increase our quality and bring you, a better overall experience for watching the show as we move forward. We're coming up in October on our 1-year anniversary, so make sure that you stick with us for that. I want to thank all of my Patreons for all of their support. Thanks for sticking with us during this little bit of a rough time. And we are in the middle right now of doing a painting tutorial on Emilio Witt's Dark Side. We are going to do some mixed material on that as well, so you guys will get to see that if you are a Patreon viewer. At the end of that particular run of videos, I will be condensing it all down. It will go up on our YouTube page a little bit later on. After that, looks like we're going to start a brand new, from scratch, 3D printer build. I'm not going to give you any more details than that, but it is going to be an exciting build for everybody, so make sure that you check that out as well. If you want to become a Patreon, you can do so by going to patreon.com/thefirstlayer, and we always welcome new people over there as well. As we work towards getting new things done over there, you'll benefit from all of that as well. If you're not into a monthly commitment or you just want to wait till we release videos up on YouTube from stuff we've been doing on Patreon, you can do that certainly. We don't mind at all. We're not asking you to keep the coffers full. But if you'd like to contribute and don't want to do that monthly commitment, you can always go ahead and buy us a coffee, because all of our team drinks coffee. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/thefirstlayer, and Jess likes coffee too. She's a double girl, whereas I'm a sweet guy. I like mine just a couple of sugar. So there you go. If you want to, you can go ahead and check out that today. If you want to send something into the show, please be sure to send it to The First Layer at 230 11929 40th Street, Southeast, Calgary, Alberta, T2Z4M8. And we will show it off on the show. If it's something that you'd like to have back, please make sure that you send a self-addressed stamped envelope or postage or whatever you need to have it sent back to you, and we will send it back. If you want us to keep it, we're working on the back wall here in the next phase of the studio redesign, and we'll have some shelving back there so that we'll start to display some of the stuff that is sent into the show and some of the builds that we're doing here as well. If you want to get in touch with me privately and you'd like to send me an email, you can always do so by sending it to richard@thefirstlayer.com. And now finally we need to thank our sponsor, who gives us this wonderful space and allows us to use filaments when we need it. And that is spool3d.ca. As you know, we have the studio right inside their retail location here in Calgary, Alberta. And we love everything that they do for us. So if you're interested in getting a brand new printer, you want to get yourself some filament or parts or accessories for your 3D printer, you can always go to spool3d.ca. Print it right, print it with spool3d.ca. And remember, if you're in Canada and your order is over $140, it's free delivery, so you don't have to pay shipping. Now, I want to, last but not least, I'm being reminded that, hey, listen, if you like the show, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also hit the like button if you like the content for today, and also make sure that you hit that bell notification so you get notified every time that we do a brand new episode or we go live here on The First Layer. And be sure to check out our Facebook page, First Layer page on Facebook, and we're going to start filling that with some news and reviews and what the gang is working on. And we're going to try and keep you guys up to date as part of our expanding initiative for our social media, which admittedly I've been lacking at, but now I've got a really good team to help me with it, so we'll get more social media stuff up there for you. So until next time, my friends, have yourselves a great weekend, because is it Friday? No, it's not. It's Monday. It's Monday. Yes, it's Monday. First Layer. What about the First Layer? Oh yeah, she's trying to. I gave her a whiteboard today so she could remind me about things I can't say, so, or that I didn't say, and I was getting to that. So you guys remember that the First Layer is always your foundation to a great print, and we will see you next time.